Morgan. I'm the sound designer, composer, technical director, and head broom pusher for Louder Than Words Dance Theater. Tensegrity, our latest piece, was based on a visit that Chris and Whit took to the Exploratorium in San Francisco, which is a giant kids museum, very hands-on. And there was a lot of sound, light, texture projects for people to play with. And they were so inspired by it, they wanted Lacey and I, their two favorite designers, to come out and actually look at it and be inspired like they were. And they talked about it, and they described it to us, and nothing could really get it into us, so we all flew out to San Francisco together. And for a weekend spent at this, I mean, it's an airplane hangar filled with cool stuff to play with. And, well, they had these images that inspired all of us to do what we're doing now. My writing partner, Austin Fagan, and I were inspired by the Fibonacci sequence and how that could be applied to music. And in doing so, it created rhythms for us that we then sort of took off from and created. He created the first 30-minute piece, and then I created the second two 30-minute pieces. It seems to have worked. We would bring something in, Chris would listen to it and say, I can use this here. And I'd take that chunk and then attach to this chunk, and then we Legoed in this giant 30-minute piece of music. It's turned out to be an amazing show. I mean, you've got your Cleo Parker Robbins and your Kim Robards and one or two other dance companies in town, and then now you have this emerging talent in Chris Harris and Louder Than Words. You know, it's cool. It's going to be a cool show. I'm really, really excited to see it. And the tech process has been that, okay, labor of love, we're going to get it up. And all the dancers are sweating their asses off. Okay, we'll do it again. We'll do it again. It's worth it. It's going to be a really good show.
I am Lacey Erb, and I am the lighting designer and a member of the design team for Tensegrity. Really, at the beginning of this whole process started at the end of our show last year, a year ago. They came up with the idea of going out to California to see the Exploratorium and the ideas that sparked in their brain from that trip. And so when the rest of the design team went out, we had so much fun out there. It was great. It was a great trip. And really the whole time since then, it's been a matter of, well, what can we try? What can we push our own limits and our own comfort levels, and as well as challenge our audience. Some of the places that I have really stretched my own capacity for design and the work that I do and my art with this has really been, I've designed theater in the round, and I've designed dance, but dance in the round is an entirely different game. So there's a lot of things that I'm experimenting with this show that so far are working out. They're working out pretty well. The pieces that Chris started with, because this show is kind of tricky because we flipped everything and we talked through the design concept first, specifically for the third act with the lighting. Chris and I sat down and we talked through, you know, the mathematical properties of the 3, 4, 5 triangle and how can we do that in light, and thus creating the squares on the stage, and really came up with the concept first, and then from those ideas, Chris then decided where she was going to block. So in that case, I did my work first and then Chris added to it. That happened with some of the staging in the second act as well, and the costume piece. The costumes were created before she started rehearsal, so that really informed the movement that the dancers do in the different costume pieces. And then layered on top of that was different lighting areas, the geometric shapes that the bags go into, and the circles and so on and so forth, that informed the blocking. So in some cases, yes, I waited to see the dancers and the movement and the blocking to create my lights, and in other places, the lights all happened through conversation and through my own visualization, and I then talked to Chris about, and then she made the movement on top of that. The whole process has been a lot of fun. It's really neat to be able to just jump into the artistic process and see what we can create. And I think it's turning out a really nice show, and it's been the funnest design process I've ever been involved in, and so far the most fruitful.